The Senkaku diaoyu island is located in the East China Sea, and it's claimed by China and Japan. China claims it since the 14th century and Japan took it militarily in 1895 through the end of the World War II. The problem is that the island was owned privately by a Japanese family, and recently they sold it to Japan, but China claims it legally and violates international laws. Also recently they discovered that in the island there is a massive undersea gas and oil field, so both nations want that territory.
Is that maritime territory will correspond to these countries. Since the early 70s, the Japanese government has rejected any offer referring to these islands. On the other hand, it should be noted that the two countries are interested in the same territory. Meanwhile, on the economic side, it's very important for China to take over the maritime area as it is only outlet to the Pacific Ocean, which will help solidify the business and make them easier.
The United States has played a big role in the conflict of China and Japan on the Senkaku Diaoyu Islands. The United States entered this conflict when the World War II finished and Japan was defeated. The San Francisco Peace Treaty between Japan and the Allies after World War II in 1951 mentioned that the United States is the new authority between the islands between China and Japan. The United States practiced their military training and air bombs, and he administered those islands for several years. But also China has their own points for telling that those islands are them. There was an agreement with the USA in 1943. The leaders Winston Churchill, Franklin Roosevelt, and Chiang Kai-shek from China agreed that Japan shall be strict.
Chinese, or Senkaku Islands in Japanese, have brought China and Japan into a bitter dispute for many decades. With regard to the real question of who owns sovereignty over the islands, the two claimants cannot come to terms on several critical issues, such as whether the islands were terra nullius when Japan claimed sovereignty in 1895, whether Japan returned the islands to China
This is a
after the Japanese
demonstration
defeat
of
in
Flip
World
for
War
Mac.
II, and how their maritime boundary in the East China Sea should be demarcated according to international law. There's no ready solution to the long-standing stalemate, but the pending dispute could be shelved and managed from escalating into a military conflict, which would be brought from both countries through their national identity and patriotic feelings. Just think about it. It could become a territory maritime war
This is a
between two
demonstration of
superpowers
Flip for
from which
Mac.
nationalism would be one of the main originators of the conflict.
Tokyo's purchase of the three of the main Daiju Senkaku Islands broke the agreed stalemate between the two countries and provoked a strong reaction in China, both in the government and among the general public. Moreover, with mass protests across China, attacks on Japanese interests in China, and public calls for war against Japan, Japan's declarations after the purchase of the islands that they have absolutely no desire for any repercussions as far as Japan-China relations are concerned, and that they were just trying to ensure the stable and peaceful management of the islands, seem short-sighted. In a conflict with so many underlying historical issues and nationalistic sentiments, any unexpected unilateral move can have consequences with grave repercussions. Moreover, this situation does not come at a good time for Beijing, as China is now in preparation for a leadership change that will take place later this year and is facing an economic slowdown. As a result, while both governments are still calling for a peaceful resolution to the dispute, we are now at a point when this dispute has the potential to become a source of open conflict in the area, which would have far-reaching consequences for the whole region and the world, both economically and diplomatically.